fellas, we all want beef cannon arms. Let's just be honest. Even if you're not into bodybuilding, we still want bigger, more jacked and stacked arms. I've put on good size, and I don't have the best insertions for it. I think I can fit 3 fingers between my bicep peak and then my elbow. We're gonna get into everything that you need to know about having jacked and stacked arms, starting with arm biasing your training. A lot of people have this question like, how do I arm bias my training, bro? It's not a trick question. Start with those close grip presses. Now, why is that important? This is sort of like an entry-level thing that you're gonna wanna do to just bias your arms in general with your compound movements. That's putting your grip in on a close grip bench. That is doing your chin-ups and driving the elbows in and using a close grip so that you can bias your biceps a little bit more. I did not mean to spoil 2 of the exercises that we're gonna talk about today, but we're gonna dive deeply into those later in the video. But start with your close grip press. So now that you have your arm biased compound movements, you're ready to make an arm day. What is an arm day? You train your fucking arms, bro. That's what it is. Where do you put it in your training program? Well, first and foremost, with regards to where we place it on our program, we want to talk about our needs versus wants analysis. Talk about this in the Berserk Method 2023, but it's wherein we look at our needs, we weigh it against our wants, and then we program accordingly. You want bigger arms, it may behoove you to make your first upper body session in your week an arm biased upper body session. You're gonna have the most energy at the beginning of the week. You're gonna be most excited, so the mental aspect is gonna be there. You're going in on a Monday, International Chest Day, and you're giga pumping the arms, bro. You're getting jacked and stacked. You're getting those horse arms, okay? You wanna do that. And then with regards to how we order our exercises, I have that up on the screen. In general though, if you wanted to incorporate more arm work into like your existing training split, a good rule of thumb is you just include it as early in the program as you can. Now, obviously with that, I left room in for abs, neck, forearms, whatever the case may be. You can certainly add that in, and I have free programs telling you exactly how to do that in the description if you want to take a look at that. But just start with the basic stuff first, see how you do with that before you start to pile up onto it. This is a new concept for some people. So master this first. Maybe after a week or 2 of getting into the groove of it, then you can start to incorporate ab work, or even just incorporate it somewhere else in your program and just keep this purely focused on the arms if you really need to laser target in on that. Now, for people that have questions about why the arm day is laid out the way that it is, of course we have to put our compounds first because we still need to work like our chest, our shoulders and everything and grow those as well, while also giving the triceps and biceps a holistic stimulus from a heavyweight. That is important. Now, with regards to like the supinated curl, the pronated curl, and then the extension and press down, really, I like to break it down in, we want to attack every angle of adding inches to our arms that we can. Does that make sense? So just to avoid like the paralysis by analysis thing, I'm a big believer in covering all your bases and just ensuring that we're checking every box. So we're going to make sure that that brachialis is ahead of the curve. We're going to make sure that biceps are ahead of the curve. And we're just going to have strong triceps in general. That is what the Berserk method is all about. We try to cover all of our bases to ensure that we have as little weak points as possible. With this video, of course, you're going to need to specialize sometimes, but in doing things, we can take a holistic approach and check a lot of different boxes at once. Now to get into the top 7, there's going to be more than 7 exercises. I just counted them just now. There's like 10. But to start with the first one, we're going to talk about incline curls. The way, incline curls. How do I like to coach them? So there's 2 things. Set the incline high, and then with this, pronation is lava. What does that mean? You know, just imagine that pronation is lava and that you don't want to touch it. Lava will burn you to a crisp, right? So you're going to want to fully supinate. Why is that? All jokes aside, I feel as though, like, if you can supinate on a curl, you should supinate and you better supinate, because I feel as though that it gives you a better stretch. I get a better pump even from lower reps if I'm fully supinating from beginning to end. Now, some people are not going to be able to do that, which is fine, just because of the way that they're built, their flexibility and things like that. Also, just like objectively larger people sometimes, off the strength of them being more muscle bound, can't fully supinate under load without pain, you know. So just start with, you know, like a pronate to supinate, but over time, if you can work up to fully supinating, you do. Let me tell you something, going from like building volume with 35s to building volume now with the 55s, nothing has done more for my biceps personally. Now, of course, they're never going to be a strong point because of my insertion, but bro, don't be a little bitch, all right? Just because something is not ever going to be like a standout strong point doesn't mean that it's not going to add pounds to your physique, and it doesn't mean it won't improve your performance as well if like you're a strength-minded individual. Now the back support, why is that good? It facilitates a stretch and putting the arms behind the body a little bit, but really why I like it is because my legs are big, they're strong, especially my hips and my hamstrings. Bro, like any pounds that I can add to a curl that's coming from my legs, I need to remove that, and the back support doesn't facilitate any of that bullshit. You can still kip and sway a little bit, but the amount of weight or reps that you can add doing that on an incline curl versus doing it on like a standing barbell curl, where, you know, as the form gets sloppier and sloppier, guys, it just turns into like a supinated fucking power clean. So I like it because it facilitates more strictness, and it also facilitates more stability as well because we're not limited by our lower back. You ever do like a freaking barbell curl and over time you get like a little back pump? Some people wear belts because of that. This cuts all that bullshit out and just makes it a pure, real deal arm exercise. Is it the best arm exercise? No, there are other exercises that do pretty much the exact same thing. It's all about what you connect with more. I connect with incline curls. I also really like preacher curls for the same reason. All right, John Meadows taught us all about the dual rope push down. We all know the benefits of the dual rope push down, but it's hard to get 2 ropes to do them sometimes. My boy ET reminded me of something some jack dude at an old LA Fitness told me about a long time ago. You just put straps at the end of a single rope. So if you can get a single rope and you can put straps at the end of it, you're essentially simulating a long rope. Even those are rare in gyms. And this will allow you to get the full benefits of the dual rope push down. What are the benefits? Well, just break it down Barney style at a high level. You get a full contraction on the triceps. You get a nice pump through the elbow and into the tricep tendon, and then it bridges into being able to do harsher tricep exercises that are more stimulating, but you can't typically do them without bridging into them unless like you want to fuck your elbows up. John Meadows talked about it all the time. He's like, okay, extensions on their own are a young guy's game, right? You do it while you're young and you feel like you're invincible. You feel like your joints will never degenerate, but over time, especially as you get stronger, like you're doing like the tricep extensions strict lying on the decline with the 50s like I can, your elbows are gonna hurt if you don't bridge into them with the press down. So not only are you getting a good hypertrophy stimulus, it's like a skill tree in a video game. It allows you to do other things as well. And before someone says something like, what about the grip? Listen, if you can't hold like 60, 70, 80 pounds or whatever you're using for press downs with a little chalk in your hands without it being an issue, without that little mushroom tip shaped stopper thing keeping your hand on the freaking, you know, straps, bro, you have bigger problems. All right, just use some chalk, grip it, and you'll be okay. Any press down, regardless if it's with a dual rope or you want to use a V-bar, it's like the middleman. So you always put these before extensions. So the brachialis, we've talked about the biceps, we've talked about the triceps. What about that middle muscle that really adds that width to it? I'm gonna bring y'all another John Meadows banger. It's the incline hammer curl. Now it's partially pronated, which is gonna bring in more forearm muscles and, like I said, more of that brachialis. I've always personally had a brachialis that was a little bit ahead of the curve from just getting strong at pull-ups and pull-downs and things of that nature. My PRs on the weighted pull-up are, I believe, 175 for 2 reps, and then on the weighted chin-up, 180 for 1. What the brachialis does is when you get it bigger, it pushes against your bicep, and it just makes your arm look 10 times better and beefier. The beef cannons, that's what we're here for. Now, John Meadows recommended this, and he is of such a caliber that when he used to recommend things, I just blindly, like, okay, bro, yeah, that's a great idea. All of the same benefits of the incline curl with supination apply here as well, except for instead of targeting the biceps, we're targeting a little bit of biceps, but also the brachialis and the forearms as well. With all the stability, all of the, you know, non-cheatiness, the strictness applies here as well. All right, we talked about harsh tricep exercises that we bridge into with press downs. What's one of those exercises that I really like? Well, lately I've really been enjoying the seated French press, specifically with back support so that you can get a little gangsta lean on it. I got this from my boy Hersoviak, aka the CEO of Upper Back. I really like this exercise. It gives me a great pump, and I find that after I do my press downs, I can just jump right into these without warming up. You may want to do a few feeder sets with, like, you know, for example, I use the hundreds on this, like 100 pounds or what is it, like 45 kilograms. Do that between for sets of 8 to 12. You may want to do like 30 pounds, then 50, then 60. But I find that I can just jump right into it because I'm doing these directly after press down. So it goes press downs, then French press. So the fact that you have back support does 2 things. It allows you to lean into like a better position for your triceps, and it also, again, adds stability. wherein if you're doing like a seated French press, you gotta wobble back and forth a little bit. Whereas with this, you can just press against the pad with your legs and really just hammer your triceps. Now, regardless of how you feel of, is like a stretched based extension like better than like press down, I think we can all agree that anything that removes larger muscle groups from the equation and allows the triceps to bear a bigger load, regardless of the mechanism, is going to be a good accessory for you to use and for you to add size to your triceps. All of the biomechanics bullshit aside, I feel the main benefit of doing this is that it allows you to train the pressing motion without the aid of the shoulders and without the chest. So for bench fellas, this is going to be a great accessory for you specifically. All right, let's talk another curl. What's another one that I really like? This is kind of derived from both things that I've learned from John Meadows and then also things that I have learned from my colleagues. Natural hypertrophy is a really big enjoyer of preacher curls in general. I kind of combined the preacher hammer curl. I just gave away the fucking exercise. I combined the incline hammer curl with the preacher curl to make the preacher hammer curl. I think natural hypertrophy talked about this as well, but let me tell you why I really favor this. I feel like it 1000% makes the brachialis in the forearms the limiting factor. But I'll tell you what, bro, the brachialis pump that I got from this, along with like the forearm pump that I got, bro, I did that, went home, ate, went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night with the worst searing cramp in my fucking forearms and brachialis that I've never felt something like that before. I was like, man, is my shit about to snap? It's just a funny way of saying, bro, it was very stimulative to the muscles that I was trying to grow. And I've been spamming these, bro. So you include these after like a stretch-based curl, like the incline curl, or you could do a strict curl or a preacher curl, whatever your stretch-based curl of choice is. And then after that, you fill in with this, you know, pronated curl. This is just one that I really, really like that I started doing recently. All right, we talked about isolations. Let's talk a little bit more about compound lifts. We talked about a couple in the intro and I accidentally spoiled them, but dude, I really like JM presses supersetted with close grip bench presses. I've never really connected with most extensions. There's a few that I really like. I'm not someone that can just go in and do any extension. Probably due to how long my arms are, I just don't vibe with most of them. But I'll tell you what, I get a great mind-melting pump from this one and a great stimulus on the triceps as well. We're working every head really effectively here. So I start with the JM press. That mostly biases the triceps. However, you're still getting a little bit of recruitment from the pecs and a little bit from the shoulders. We're just hyper biasing it to the triceps. All right, so I'll do a set of that to failure. And then directly after that, you know, with the JM press, you're more so bringing it to like your chin or your clavicle or your neck, somewhere between that, whatever feels natural for your build. For me, it's somewhere in the middle of that. After I do that, I just bring the bar down lower, as close to like the top of my six-pack muscles as I can, and then I'm just doing straight close grip presses to failure. Dude, it is a world-shattering pump that you get from this, bro. Try it out if you haven't already. A lot of people really like the lying French press to close grip bench superset. So if you're an enjoyer of that, you're really gonna like this because I feel as though it's even better. Now, I was gonna talk to y'all about guillotine press, but I feel that because of one, the skill level that it needs to do safely, and the fact that a lot of people are just gonna blindly do it, and that needs to be a more detailed video and I'm very specific about how to do it and who needs to be doing it. I do like it as an exercise, and I have felt for me, I'm fucking jacked. I'm good at bench pressing. I know how to do it without hurting myself. I felt for me it gave a good tricep pump, but I don't want like a 1-2 plate bencher saying, oh, guillotine press, and then you know your results will shock you and not in a good way. So instead of talking about that, I'm just gonna tease that video and then segue into talking about the two exercises that I accidentally spoiled in the intro. Okay, we'll call it a value add, like a hook. Okay, all right, I gave you a little bit to be able to talk about a little bit more. But the technique adjustments or leverage adjustments with the incline close grip bench press, or there's no name for it, but you just do a chin up with your elbows drived in like that to recruit more of your biceps. Do it right now. So you do a curl and your elbows are out like that versus if your elbows are turned in like this. Just with your arm, which do you feel more of a contraction with on your bicep? It's not a trick question, bro. It's elbows in. So you're doing the same thing on a chin up. You could also, if you want, use like band assistance, not because you want to make it easier, but because you're changing the strength curve. I found with a band, even if you don't bring your elbows in, you're going to feel your biceps more. Now, of course, this is still a compound exercise, so you still want to get like a lat, upper back stimulus and things of that nature. But putting this on an arm day, we're biasing it to hit the arms as much as we can. Now, with the incline close grip bench press, we're changing our technique as well as the leverage. Technique in the capacity of we're bringing our arms in closer, and the leverage in, we're removing a lot of the assistance that we could get from our chest, while still recruiting it enough that we're using a heavy enough weight to check that heavy weight stimulus that we talked about is important for triceps. On top of that, because we're doing it at an incline, the range of motion is tremendous, bro. So this is gonna be a great exercise for people with short arms especially, to get a big range of motion on their triceps. All right, fellas, that's all she wrote. I'm gonna leave like a template for that arm day somewhere in the description or maybe in a pinned comment with the timestamps. I want to talk about the RASKOL apparel restock that we're launching this Friday. By the way, fellas, before I talk about that, I just want to say thank you for like the tremendous amount of support that I've gotten with this sponsorship and of course with Bells of Steel. Bro, when Omar sent me like the amount of code uses that I got, it fucking blew my mind. I'm a big believer in if you're someone that helps people, people will help you. And I gotta say, man, I see everybody wearing the RASKOL apparel, and I gotta say thank you for that. It's code OMNI at discount, so we're restocking our bodybuilding shorts. It's like a really low cut to show off the quads. The colors are really nice. I really want a yellow pair. So if Omar's watching this, bro, I would like a yellow pair of the bodybuilding shorts, please. But that's the pair that I want y'all to go for. That's the pair that I'm getting. I've got the one Rep Man stringer on right now. It's my favorite stringer by RASKOL Apparel. I also really like the barbell design as well. It's like Berserk themed. It's like, not my second favorite, but an equal favorite. Does that make sense? It's like trying to pick a favorite child. I can't pick one, all right? I love them both equally. I'm gonna head back inside, get some chow. Y'all watch these videos wherever they're at on the screen now that you've watched this one. You have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.